a couple of the more fair modern decks. We've seen some turn 3 kills, some turn 2 virtual kills.
Yep. Now we're going to have some honest magic here.
This is more Brian Kibler's wheelhouse right here.
Iafrate is going to very quickly search up a Sacred Foundry off of that Windswept Heath. They'll fall down to 17. Looks like Noble Hierarch's coming into the red zone. And we'll see what Drew's follow-up is. It'll be a Tarmogoyf, so he's not wasting any time here. A little bit of shortcutting. Westberg with an Overgrown Tomb. That was his first land. We'll see what land number 2 is. It's an Isolated Chapel. And over to Drew Iafrate we go. Windswept Heath. Beat downs here with Tarmogoyf, a little exalted action to make an attack for 2. However, Path Exile is going to take care of that. So Iafrate will get to search up a land. He'll also search up a land there with the Windswept Heath, save the players a little bit of time.
Yeah, Drew messaged me on Facebook, and he's just like, hey, do you have a deck for me to play? Do you have any good ideas? And I was like, you know, I gave him some suggestions, and he's like, oh, good. I thought you were going to tell me to play like Grixis Control or something. I was like, no, man, I know your style. He's like, dude, I don't think we've ever played a match against each other. And it's like, no, we haven't, but I've watched you play, man. You play a lot of red. You're tight aggressive. So it is not surprising to see him playing this deck.
So you would not recommend Grixis Control to me either?
No, of course not.
Good man. Good man.
You have to make recommendations to the person themselves, you know?
Good man.
He's not asking me what deck I would play.
That's true.
Because that doesn't help him.
That's very true. Another Tarmogoyf. We'll get our Tarmogoyf die out there. Let you know the sizing of that big creature. I believe right now it's a 2/3. Does Westberg have land number 3? It looks like he does.
Basic Forest.
Powerful.
Also Stirring Wildwood.
He'll just play the forest past the turn back. Iafrate will quickly draw. Here comes Tarmogoyf in for 3 because of Exalted. There's an Obzon Charm. Oh.
Thanks, Noble Hierarch.
Yep, that'll get the job done. Another Tarmogoyf. Well, he's got plenty of those left.
Play set.
Yep. This guy's rich over here. There's a Windswept Heath. Pass the turn back. Oh, my God. Well.
That was a good draw.
Maelstrom Pulse was not a bad draw. Later Tarmogoyfs. There's a Stirring Wildwood. Talk about a perfect turn. I guess we don't need that Tarmogoyf die anymore.
Yeah. Well, John might need it at some point.
Maybe.
His hand is just chock full of Siege Rhinos and Obzadots, and I think he likes the spot.
There are a few things that feel worse than getting 2 for 1 by Maelstrom Pulse. It feels awful every time. Here comes Noble Hierarch in for 1. Westberg down to 18. Pass the turn back. And now it's going to start looking like standard.
Yep.
Here's the Siege Rhino.
Here they come. They travel in packs.
They do. 15 to 18 in favor of Waste. Oh, excuse me. 21 for Westberg, I believe, is what he's going to jump up to. Yeah, 21 to 12. Now here's a Collected Company. That's the last card here for Drew. It's going to have to be a doozy. No more Tarmogoyfs left, it appears. Now the Reliquary. Man, 7 for 7. No misses. And Scavenging Ooze is actually pretty nice.
Yeah, it's not bad. Not a lot to feast on right now. I mean, all of Drew's Tarmogoyfs are gone, so you could just start going to work on John's graveyard.
Yeah, he'll get to eat 1 Tarmogoyf, gain a life. The Ooze is a 3/3. There's also an active Knight now. That's not so bad. Magus of the Moon.
Ooh.
It's a draw. Hey, 1 good top deck deserves another, man.
Yeah, this might be a quick turnaround.
Yep. After that Maelstrom Pulse beating. Iafrate going to check his graveyard here. Going to eat a Scavenging Ooze. Good sequencing here. Going to use the Stomping Ground. Attack here for 5 with the Ooze, thanks to the Noble Hierarch. No blocks to be had. Now he'll play Magus.
The fun police.
Yep. Well, you have some forests. You have a forest, excuse me, and a bunch of mountains, and you just drew a Verdant Catacombs.
Obzadot is a little tough to cast.
Are you sure? I thought Westberg was going to run away with this game.
Oh, me too.
After that pulse, I thought this was over. There's an Ooze. Verdant Catacombs. Pass the turn back. Knight's going to go active. Sacrifice Forest.
Blood Moon effects are just really fun and really fair.
Yeah. People don't like Tron, which is understandable. Blood Moon is similarly frustrating to play against. Now the Reliquary is going to search up an arid mesa that cannot be sacrificed thanks to Magus of the Moon. It's an arid mesa mountain. Iafrate will draw a Blood Moon. Yep. Going to make sure that this fun never stops. The question now is this Scavenging Ooze going to get in there? You've got an opponent here in John Westberg who really can't cast very many spells.
Yeah, so now if you're in Drew's spot, you need to find the cleanest way, the quickest way to end this game.
Knight, I believe, is a 6/6. With Exalted, it'll make it a 7/7.
Yeah, John can't activate the Scavenging Ooze. All he has is a bunch of mountains. So does not have enough power to take it down with a double block.
No good blocks at all. So Westberg's going to take 7. Looks like he's going to fall down to 9. And Knight has some real closing speed on this game. But Westberg will get the opportunity to activate Scavenging Ooze next turn, do that 1 basic forest if he does leave it available.
Yeah, but I mean, if that's your only colored mana source that helps you, that's rough to have to use it just to do that.
Agreed. Agreed. All right, John Westberg, what's the draw step? Twilight Mire. Mountain, actually.
In an alternate universe, Twilight Mire's great.
Yes. Magus of the Moon into Blood Moon. Pretty tough to beat. There's a Mire. Pass the turn back. Freddie's going to draw. Didn't get a great look at it. Here comes Knight.
So currently a 7/7.
Looks like Westberg's going to fall down to 2.
Not going to go for the double block. Kind of surprising.
The follow-up is a Loxodon Smiter. Iafrate will pass the turn back over to Westberg, and we are all done here. Drew Iafrate is going to win game number 2 here over John Westberg. Now I accompany and Obzon going to get ready here for game number 3. If there is a double block there, Ooze removes one of the lands, makes Knight into a 6/6. One creature dies, either the Ooze or the Siege Rhino, and then the Knight dies. Yeah. And then you have to contend with the Siege Rhino, or with the Scavenging Ooze. That's big, or the Smiter. So yeah. I don't think that John wins that game even if a double block takes place. I was a little surprised to see no block there, though.
Yeah, I mean, he would have to double block, and then Drew plays the Smiter, and then next turn he would probably have to chump block after drawing like Basic Swamp or something, and then he would have to peel an Abrupt Decay or something. Well, I guess he still had the additional Blood Moon too.
Yeah.
So he's
pretty locked up.
Yeah, there was no getting out of it.
Sideboards there again for both players. Iafrate using those Blood Moons and Magus of the Moon to his advantage. Maybe the Bonfire of the Damned is in. We'll have to find out as we make our way through game number 3. Westberg on the play here. Anything too crazy change? You know your opponent has Blood Moons now.
Celestial Purge, Golgari Charm, like those are magic cards. He didn't draw any fetch lands.
Okay, very true.
So him getting worked over by Blood Moon was not necessarily his own fault. You know, he didn't really have a whole lot of control with that. So maybe this game he'll be mulliganing maybe a little bit more aggressively and try and not let that happen again, because it seems like, barring a Blood Moon effect, he won game 1. He was in a pretty good shape that game. It did involve a top deck Maelstrom Pulse, granted, but I think he was still okay. That was just kind of insult to injury at that point. So I think his matchup's pretty good. You just need to not lose to a Blood Moon.
Well, you see the options there for both players. They'll get ready here for the next game. But in the meantime, we're going to talk about SCG Game Night, the very popular promotion with only 2 months left in 2015. So that means starting today, actually. First of all, no shaving. Second of all, Otter.
That Otter cannot shave.
That's correct.
Not allowed.
No Shave November for the Otter. That's available all month long. And then for the month of December, once you do shave, you can get yourself a reindeer. So that's fantastic in December. Now, of course, this popular promotion available to all of our Canadian players now at domestic rates. So if you do want to get signed up for that, have your local store contact ISP at StarCityGames.com, or you can go to StarCityGames.com/game night and get ready to get the otter for November, the reindeer for December, and 2016 stuff going to be announced pretty soon. So look forward to that. And no, I'm not going to tell you what it is.
I wasn't even going to ask.
Good.
I'm used to the rejection at this point, Cedric.
Good.
You have broken me.
Don't bother asking because I'm not going to tell you, Jerry. Okay? Goodness. How many times do I have to tell you?
It was about 3.
Just want to make sure. Drew Iafrate, you mentioned pretty, I guess you said tight aggressive.
Tight aggressive.
Yeah, he looked pretty at home playing creature deck there.
Yeah.
Understood how combat worked right away. What he wanted to accomplish there with the Knight. And Exalted with Noble Hierarchs. For some players, and it feels like Drew, but you think of like a Brian Kidler, stuff like that, they're a real comfort zone deck like this, Naya Company deck.
Yeah, like I said, Drew has mostly played a Tarka Red, like that style of deck.
Okay.
But he's a threat, you know? Like, he knows what he's doing. He knows how to attack. He knows how to eke out those small edges. Very similar to yourself, I imagine.
Well, I love a healthy beatdown. Only blue cards in my deck. I'm not interested in Snapcaster Mage and Kolagon's Command.
How do you feel about Blood Moon?
It's pretty lame, actually.
Yeah. You're like, I can beat him straight up.
Well, like, so that's the only card I actually don't like in Modern, I think. Like, I'm actually okay with, like, kind of the nonsense that people do with stuff like Summer Bloom and Amulet. Like, I'm actually fine with that. Because, like, once you sign up for Modern Tournament, you're just like, okay, this is just a thing that people can do. Blood Moon is just a little bit frustrating to me. I think it's just kind of a lame way to win.
Yeah, it's understandable.
I just don't like that, like, at the beginning of the game, you're just like, I better play around this. I don't know if they have it, but I guess I'll fetch a basic because you could have, like, 1. Yeah, that's just kind of annoying. But if, like, you want to Summer Bloom me on turn 2 and play Medieval Titan, like, cool. That's fine.
Doesn't make a lot of sense to me, but
I don't really make sense. I don't really make sense. But if that's a thing that you want to do and you have that draw, awesome.
Is this in reference to the Summer Bloom or the Blood Moon?
The Summer Bloom.
Okay.
Yeah. Blood Moon's just lame. Let me play. If I can't win, that's fine, but let me play. Boom. Inquisition. Get that Magus of the Moon right out of here. Just take it.
Was talking to John in between rounds, and he said that's basically all he wanted was just an Inquisition or Thoughts. He's on turn 1 against every deck.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what it is.
That's why you play the black-green decks, man. You want some discard. Now, there are 2 collected companies over there that Inquisition cannot take. In addition to Magus of the Moon, you can take another Reliquary or a Wild Nicodle. Plains and Windswept Heath are the lands.
I'll take the Windswept Heath.
It's a good choice.
Unfortunately, that doesn't work.
Really,
That's kind of like casting Blood Moon.
pretty much. Can you imagine if discard spells could take lands?
That'd be really silly.
Magic would be not great. There goes the Nicodle. Encroach is here.
Shoebox got jokes.
Yeah, our directors are hilarious.
Funny man.
Yeah. It's an uncommon, by the way. You're going to have to pay a little extra for that one. Urza's Destiny, if memory serves.
Yep. Uncommon.
Yep.
That's it. I'm gonna get on Magic Online, play some Encroaches.
Yeah. Play an Encroach land destruction deck.
Yeah.
Turn 2 here for Westberg. He's got a Verdant Catacombs. Let's see if he wants to search for the basic forest. I have a feeling he does.
Well, he started with basic Swamp.
Yep. Yeah, he's going all the way through to get a basic forest. None of this Blood Moon nonsense. Scavenging Ooze, go.
And then next turn, it looks like he has Windswept Heath to complete the trifecta.
Bang.
So, did not select Magus of the Moon with that Inquisition for a reason.
And now I just don't care about Blood Moon effects. My whole entire deck's online for the most part. You know, obviously that's still going to be tough to cast
True.
if there's a Blood Moon out there, but...
Might be a little ambitious.
Yep. Windswept Heath is land number 2 here for Iafrate. Westberg will draw. Scavenging Ooze. See an Abrupt Decay over there in Westberg's hand as well.
Wonder what the thought process is here.
A couple different ways he can go.
Could just eat the Nicodle, put out the other Scavenging Ooze off maybe a Temple Garden, or whether or not he wants to commit to fetching that basic Plains. So right now he doesn't have any white cards. Maybe if Drew spends his turn just casting the Magus of the Moon, he's fine with that.
Ooze is going to take care of the Nicodle.
Or maybe you just don't commit the other Ooze this turn.
Well, Westberg's going to sacrifice that Windswept Heath. Iafrate's going to sacrifice his Windswept Heath. Looks like they might just be shortcutting here.
Yeah, save some time.
Iafrate's going to search up Basic Forest because he has a Magus of the Moon in hand, wants to be able to actually cast his spells. There's Temple Garden. This is another Scavenging Ooze. Now keep in mind, Westberg does have a Maelstrom Pulse in hand. We saw how powerful that was last game. Mountain the draw here for Drew Iafrate. There's a Plains. And now there's a Magus. Gonna get that out there. It doesn't appear to be much better to do right now for Drew.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised by that.
Well, he's got these collected companies in hand that he's working towards.
Right. I think he has a Knight of the Reliquary that he could play instead. That would kind of halt the beatdowns, maybe. This could be bait also.
Tassiger the draw. To go along with a Pulse and a Decay. Looks like we're going to see Maelstrom Pulse, I believe. Yep.
Yeah, this is what these green-black decks do. You know, they control the game a little bit, but then they establish a clock, look to turn the corner very quickly.
And that's why I think the use of the green in the deck, because we saw it Mardu yesterday, and we talked about maybe if do you want to be Mardu, you want to be Jund or Abzan, what are the benefits of playing green? It's really just how big the creatures are and how Tarmogoyf and Scavenging Ooze are able to end games pretty quickly. Here's Collected Company.
John Westberg attacking in with no fear. Picked up a Path to Exile on his draw step, so now he has access to that and Abrupt Decay for this turn.
What's there to be scared of when you have two removal spells?
Yeah.
Tarmogoyf at night.
So Drew picks up two great creatures.
I think they're dead and dead. Yeah. Dead. Dead and dead. We'll get the search with the Tarmogoyf. There's a Basic Forest.
The last basic land out of the deck.
I believe Iafrate on this attack is going to fall down to 5.
Yeah, it's close. He might be able to stabilize, though. He still has another Collected Company hanging out.
Now Collected Company. 8 of 8.
Oh.
8 of 8 this weekend.
Important.
8 of 8. It has not coughed up only one creature. It also hasn't flat missed this weekend. I'm not trying to jinx it. I'm just stating facts, people. Here's a Temple Garden. Here's a Wild Nicodle. Pass the turn back. Westberg with a Tassiger in hand. Drew a Tarmogoyf. He can play both of those. Jeez.
Yeah, so another turn where he gets to play 2 spells.
My goodness.
But do you want to risk it this turn? GM your 2 oozes into Collected Company mana.
Sometimes I'm a coward. Sometimes I just want to hold steady.
You get to play 2 creatures this turn, so maybe it's risky to attack this turn, and next turn you have a big attack with 4 creatures. Maybe that's better.
You see that thing he's doing with the pen? I want to be able to do that. Just a small thing.
Josh Ravitz is the first one that I knew that could do that really well.
Yeah.
I was always jealous.
I spent some time trying to learn. It was a comedy of errors.
Yeah.
I just couldn't do it.
Some people don't have that dexterity, you know?
Taking a look at the graveyard here is Westberg. It looks like Tassiger's on the way. I wouldn't be surprised if John doesn't attack.
Oh, me neither. It seems a little more conservative to not attack this turn, but it sets you up for such a better attack next turn. Plus, Drew basically is priced into casting the Collected Company this turn, so then John is operating with more information next turn as to what the attacks and blocks are going to look like.
Yeah, he says no attacks. Here comes Collected Company.
And this is going to be the one where it whiffs, right?
Yeah.
Where John could have just attacked.
It's like a bird and noble hierarch. Oh, Voice of Resurgence, Scavenging Ooze. Now this is actually important because Drew gets to use Scavenging Ooze first now.
Yeah.
And there are some creatures in his graveyard.
And 9 for 9.
True. True. Lightning Bolt and take her 1 Scavenging Ooze. That's another creature to feed on right now if you're Iafrate. Looks like he might be catching up here. There's 3 mana. We know he's got another Reliquary in hand. So he's going to cast that. He'll eat with Ooze, take care of one of the Scavenging Oozes in the graveyard. See if he wants to eat with another Ooze or not, and he will. Eat another Reliquary. Gain another life, grows Ooze into a 4/4.
And up to 7 life.
Yep. One of these things that the Night Company deck does really, really well, the creatures that it plays are all really large.
Yes.
And you can really outclass other green decks as far as combat is concerned because your creatures get so big.
Yeah, you think of Abzan as like the king of mid-range, right? But he's kind of just getting out mid-range here. Like, Knight is huge, Ooze is huge. Drew just has had more card advantage this game.
Westberg has a Thoughtseize. It took care of another Knight.
Now it might be time to eat some stuff with his own Scavenging Ooze.
That's exactly what he's going to do. He'll eat Knight, and he'll eat Magus of the Moon. Tarmogoyf's a 3/4.
Yep.
Oh, passing.
This is one of those matchups where you'd really like to see Lingering Souls.
Yeah, if you're John, Lingering Souls is kind of the breaker, right? Get to the skies because the ground is so just gummed up.
Yeah.
There's Kosali Pride Mage.
I mean, John did his best. Try to turn that corner, get a little aggressive.
You know, the turn where we saw Decay and Path, I think that's the right line.
I do too.
Kills both his creatures, get in for 5 points of damage, put him to 5. Maybe hope that the other collected company isn't too brutal, stuff like that.
And it wasn't, in all fairness. It was pretty tame. Voice of Resurgence, Scavenging Ooze.
It looks like the Ooze is coming across in the red zone here. It's a 4/4 base power and toughness, but there's an Exalted Trigger from Kosali Pride Mage, so you got a 5/5 coming through.
And I like this. Like I said, Drew, tight, aggressive. Like, the board's kind of clogged up. You'd see a lot of players just be like, I don't know if my attacks are great. I'll just pass the turn. You know, I have more creatures. I have this Knight active.
But you know I can appreciate some good creature combat.
Yeah, I mean, he sees a window. He's taking it.
Yeah.
It's like nothing bad happens if I make this attack. He even has, like, Knight of the Reliquary to go get Kessig Wolf Run if he wants to.
I think he wants to. He's already reaching for his mana. So right now, Tarmogoyf's a 3/4, Tasker is a 4/5. So can he deal 9? What I think he's going to do is start by shrinking Tarmogoyf. So it's a 2/3 now.
So get those sorceries out of here.
Yep.
Players, please make your way up to the side event registration area. Once again, players, if you signed up for today's Legacy Challenge, please make your way to the side event registration area.
Not sure if that helps or not.
It might not help in the short term. Maybe it helps in the long term. Maybe.
Yeah.
The question here is, which threat do you value the highest, right? Like, Ooze has a lot of relevant text on it. And with him maybe losing his Ooze here in this combat, he'll be without an Ooze, but John will have one. And then John's Ooze can control Knight of the Reliquary a little bit. It can control the creatures out of the graveyard. It can control the sizing of Tarmogoyfs. A lot of relevant stuff there.
Yeah, the choke point is John's mana. He only has access to 2 green mana and only 3 mana total. So, you know, he's got a lot of things with activated abilities. He has the Tasker and the Scavenging Ooze. He just doesn't have enough to actually utilize those cards.
2 lands in the graveyard now for Iafrate. So it looks as though Knight of the Reliquary is at 4/4 at this point. So I think he might be wanting to take care of Tassiger. Yep. Tarmogoyf's going to move back up to a 3/4. Now there's our creatures in the graveyard. Westberg will draw. And for what it's worth, this could also be just a plan to get big toughness creatures out of the way so that then Kessig Wolf Run can run wild.
That's true. I mean, then you can start sending in first maybe the Voice of Resurgence.
Yeah. I might want to send Old Voice in there anyway. I kind of want that elemental token.
Yeah, it's pretty big. It's good when it has trample.
Let's see what this is. Maybe Abrupt Decay? Yeah, take care of the Knight. We're going to get an activation, of course. Going to sacrifice a forest.
And John basically has to use this main phase because of the Voice of Resurgence.
At this stage, you do not want to give away an elemental token.
No.
So there's your Keswick Wolf run.
Legacy Premier IQ players, your pairing.
Tarmogoyf's going to be a 4-5 now.
Being posted on yellow paper on the pairing
It appears both players are going to check to make sure of the sizing. Yeah, okay, it's going to stay at a 3-4. Instant land creature in the graveyard.
Yep, still no sorcery.
Okay. There's a Wolf run out there right now that can pump for 3.
Might be worth an attack from the Scavenging Ooze here, from John's side.
You think just because you're not blocking with it?
Maybe. Plus Drew's at 7.
His life total is pretty low. There's Nerd Mesa. Here comes Wild Nicottle, maybe. You mentioned tight aggressive. Looks like aggressive to me.
No attack goes missed.
Yeah. I'm not going to leave any points on the board, man. Can't take them with you.
And I believe he's out of basics.
So this could be a painful search. Yep, Temple Garden. Iafrate's going to fall down to 4. Yep, big pump. It's going to be a Wolf run for 4. With the 3 from Wild Nicottle and the 1 from Kosali Pride Mage, pretty healthy attack there of 8. Now the Reliquary is going to bite the dust.
Yeah, basically half his life total except for the Scavenging Ooze.
Yep. So Ooze is going to move up to a 5-5.
Yeah, Drew's just trying to be as aggressive as possible. I guess it's worth noting that they're kind of running out of time, too.
Yeah, I mean, we're under 5 minutes, about to be under 4. Probably enough time to finish, but we can't make terribly long decisions anymore.
Yeah, so get John low enough so that he has to start blocking, and then you get to start making these up trades thanks to the Keswick Wolf run. You know, you start getting to trade like your Wild Nicottle for a Scavenging Ooze, maybe Voice of Resurgent for Tarmogoyf, still leave an elemental token behind.
Commander pod number 6, please come up to the silent station. Your event is ready to begin. Commander pod number 6.
Looks like players are just confirming life totals at this point.
Modern Open players.
Now, this could be like, he said take 7, which means that he missed the Exalted Trigger or something, yeah.
It all depends on the verbal communication between the two players. Voice of Resurgence looks like it wants to block. It's going to block Scavenging Ooze. Tarmogoyf's going to come through. It's going to put Iafrate down to 1. He will get an elemental token. Lingering Souls has shown up now.
Oh, that would have been lethal if he did that before combat.
Oh, you're right. He did have a sorcery in the graveyard.
Yeah,
wow.
It would have forced the double chump block.
Yeah, he missed that. I think Tarmogoyf may be the draw here. Now Iafrate's got to figure out, is there a way for him to make it through another turn here? He drew Tarmogoyf for the turn.
I think this works out perfectly so that if John just blocks one thing, there's no way that Drew can deal him 10 damage.
He's going to attack with everything. Here's a big time pump. 2 damage is going to come through. The Elemental is a 3-power creature. Pump for 4 makes it a 7. 7 minus 1 is 6. 7, 8.
Down to 2?
Yeah, but 2 is not 0. Yeah, and that's going to do it. John Westberg's going to win this match here over Drew Iafrate, 2-1. Abzan is going to take care of Naya Company. And for John Westberg, moves on to 11, 2, and 1. And if the pairings are favorable, should be able to draw in the top 8 and be 11, 2, and 2 and work its way in the elimination rounds.
And he started 2, 2, and 1, I believe.
It was ugly at the beginning. It was ugly at the beginning.
He's rattled off a few in a row.
Well, yeah, knock the dust off.
Yeah, I was going to say maybe shaking the rust off, you know, getting back into the groove of things.
And a little too much Hearthstone. Work his way back into the old Magic game.
Is there a such thing? I don't play Hearthstone.
I don't play Hearthstone. I have no clue. It's flashing lights, a lot of noise. Way too old for that stuff. But John Westberg clearly good at both games here. He is 11-2-1 here in Dallas, and as I said,